Some of you in the room right now, you are where you are, you're giving 60% when you have 120 in you. Why? Because you've never made a decision. Those of you in this room, you already there. Your problem is this is stuff you don't want to give up to go on. Listen to me, pound for pound, any agent in the room, pound for pound, motivational speaker, pound for pound, entrepreneur, pound for pound, athlete, pound for pound, weightlifter, pound for pound, whatever you do, I guarantee you when you do it, nobody can do it like you do it. The problem is you don't hardly do it.
Welcome back to CFB Prime. I am your host, Nino Brown. This episode is brought to you by the T2T Network and, of course, CFB Nation. We're going to go down another magical episode of CFB Prime. I'm going to be talking Stetson Bennett, Dylan Raiola. And is there a shakeup coming in the Big Ten? Can Penn State, Nebraska, maybe a dark horse like Wisconsin, throw a monkey wrench into, teams like Michigan and Ohio State? We'll have to see. We're going to start talking about Stetson Bennett. 6 years at Georgia, and you ain't got a degree? What? Excuse me? I'm a little confused. I was ready to channel my inner Shannon Sharpe, but I think he did that enough. I'm kind of confused at all this. You've been there for 6 years. You ain't got a degree. You played football. Your eligibility ran out. What were you doing? I'm just confused. I mean, I get you as a walk-on at Georgia as a freshman. You didn't take a single snap, And then Justin Fields came and committed. And you got nervous. You said, "I'm out." And you went to Jones Junior College. Well, Justin Fields never took a snap for Georgia. And you came back after a year at Jones College where you threw in 12 games, 16 touchdowns, 1,800 yards in a sophomore season. You almost thought about going to Louisiana Raging Cajuns, but they needed a backup for Fromm. You came over, and you became the backup, Mr. Stetson Bennett. So there was a year at junior college, but I guess that doesn't go against your eligibility or go towards what you needed for your degree, I guess. I mean, because when I look it up, I see all student athletes must register for a minimum of 12 credit hours at all times in order to practice and compete. So that would be 12 is 24, 36, 48, 6 years, 12. Numbers here aren't matching up. Is there a year off? Did he just coast? They have his feet up in the locker room watching ESPN, smoking cigars, smoking at Joey Burrow. Like I'm just confused. I don't understand. The only way that any of this even makes sense would to be like, how many times did he switch his major? Because that would be the underlying factor, right? Because then you're switching your major, and I guess there's leeway towards the minimum credits then, because now you're starting a new major. Was it part of the plan to just wing it? Oh, we're gonna go 6 months into this, and I'm gonna I'll switch this major. We'll switch it up a little bit, buy me some time. Next year I'll go a year, and then I'll switch it up again. I don't know, but there's a lot of, when you get close to the ocean and tides changing, it starts to smell fishy. There's a lot of things with Stetson that's starting to smell fishy. They said there was a culture issue. He stuck his nose up at it. He's also part of that problem. He stuck his nose up at it when my guy Boom, I asked him a question about it. But now he's in the NFL, and you're not gonna be able to just stick your nose up at anything. Things like this are gonna pop up, and you're gonna have to pay attention. You're gonna have to be able to answer these questions. You're not gonna be able to go, what? That's not gonna work, because they're gonna just keep pounding you. But we're gonna have to dive a little deeper into it. I was looking, and I just can't see, like, his major is gonna have to play a part into the credited hours and how you can be 6 years at a school or in school and not graduate. It's just odd to me. I think it's odd to a lot of people. He was playing Georgia. He was playing football, that's for sure. I don't know what else he was playing, but Stetson Bennett's got some questions to answer. Lucy, you got some explaining to do. Now we're going to talk Georgia. I guess we might as well stay on this. Georgia got a big one today. 2024, well, five-star QB, Dylan Raiola commits to Georgia, and they didn't get nobody this year. They just got the big guy. So that really it's all that matters. Now, is Raiola the best quarterback committal to Georgia since Matt Stafford? I mean, I know I mentioned Justin Fields, but he never threw a ball, took a snap at Georgia, so he was gone. And then once Trevor Lawrence became number one, Fields was two. So right now, Dylan Raiola would be the number one in his class, and he's a 5-star. So he would have to be the best QB to Georgia since Matt Stafford. I spoke about culture, but maybe there's a change of culture going on because Raiola told ESPN that there's a culture and a standard that he was attracted to with Georgia. The more that the time went by, the stronger he felt about Georgia, and it ultimately led to him, making the decision to commit today. I spoke, maybe I think it's episode 2 of CFB Prime. Raiola is maturing. He's developing his game. He's out there working with Patrick Mahomes when he was out watching his sister's volleyball game in Texas. He's trying to better his craft. It's all full circle for Raiola right now because Bobo developed Matt Stafford, who's practically family for Raiola, right? Dylan calls him Uncle Matt. His father Dominic played with Matt in the NFL for many, many years. There's just multiple ties. Georgia fullback coach Sean Shapis, they have ties. He was with Raiola and Stafford in Detroit. He was also part of Stafford's wedding party. So, I mean, it all works back. And then there's this factor, right? So they didn't sign a quarterback in the 23 cycle. But they added Stockton last year, Gunnar Stockton, and they have Carson Beck and Brock Vandegrift, right? That's if they all stay. But by the time Raiola was on campus, Beck's a senior, right? And Vandegrift and the other gentleman, Stockton, they're juniors. If they stay. And they're not at the caliber of Dylan Raiola. So could he come in and have a chance to start? Probably. There's a lot of deciding factors in there. Now, Raiola going to Georgia, is that the final piece of the puzzle to continue the dynasty? They lost a lot on the defensive side of the ball. Can the offensive side of the ball be what carries them in the next year or two until they develop the defensive side of the ball? Well, if that's the route they're going to go, if that's the route Kirby Smart wants to go, then locking down Dylan Raiola was the way to go. I mean, Dylan Raiola was tied to many, many other teams, right? He already committed to Ohio State, then decommitted. And him and his father said they weren't going to make any announcement to where they were going. So they did their work and visited schools and seen what they wanted to do and developed a little bit better. That was apparent because there was no hype, just crystal ball hype. That was it. It was Nebraska maybe because of his uncle being there. There was, obviously Georgia. And there was USC because of the QB whisperer and Lincoln Riley. And he went out there to visit. So there was, it was the opportunity. But in all in all, in a vacuum, I think USC was kind of out of the play. You knew you weren't going to play, Caleb's there. Obviously, you're not eligible this year, but Caleb's there. Kai Nelson's the dude coming in there, right? And you would have to beat him out. He obviously went there knowing that he was going to sit a year to be the guy after Caleb leaves. So it didn't line up. Georgia lines up. Georgia lines up for you and to carry this Bulldog dynasty that they have developed over the last 2-3 years and run with it. So Raiola committing to Georgia is enormous, especially since guys like Jaden Davis went to Michigan and Nolan, committing to Ohio State. So, this is big. Raiola finally put, his stamp down, locked it in. I think this one is legit. And he stays with Georgia. And maybe the culture has changed. Or maybe it's just smoke and mirrors, and maybe that won't affect Dylan Raiola. We'll have to see. But I think this is a good decision for Raiola. I think, like I said, there's a lot of quote-unquote family ties here. A lot of guys that his dad knows that he's been around for a while, so the development should be easy for Raiola. He also took 6 visits there as well. So, I mean, he likes what he sees. Let's talk the Big Ten. I want to go down the line here. I mean, if you watched any CFB Nation over the year, any CFB Prime, I'm not a Michigan guy by any means. I do like Donovan Edwards. I think Jimmy's got a little too big for his britches, And he needs to put the belt on a little tight and allow it to swing around a lot. He thinks he's King Dingaling lately, and things are catching up to him. So Jimmy H needs to slow down a little bit. Ryan Day's come in question a few times. I think Ryan Day, he's safe. Matt Rule's the new guy in the scene again, right? And he's got everybody in Nebraska going, woohoo, crazy. Can James Franklin? I think this is kind of like a make or break year for James Franklin, because I've always said over the past years, everybody loves James Franklin. Everybody says, "Oh, James Franklin, look what he's done." What has he done? Yeah, they were. What, I think they won 11 games last year. Where were they? Were they in the top 5? Did they make it to the playoff? Were they even in the Big Ten playoff? Like, huh? Nebraska? They're back, right? Well, that's not going to come back. I shouldn't say they're back yet. They haven't really done it. But Casey Thompson said, "I'm out," because it's obviously Jeff Sims' team. I said that was Jeff Sims' team the moment he transferred to Nebraska. Put that one in my hat. We'll talk about that another time. They got a lot going on in Nebraska. Running back has emerged for them in Gabe Ervin Jr. When Anthony Grant went down for 2 weeks for suspension for personal issues, Gabe Ervin just turned it on, right? He's healthy, shifty, running people over. Now they got a two-headed monster with Anthony Grant being back and Gabe Ervin. You got a mobile quarterback in Jeff Sims. Matt Rule loves tight ends. They've already gone to the Y and the H tight end position. They're not going solo tight end no more with Scotty Frost. All right. You got Thomas Fido, and you have hybrid wide receiver / tight end Jarian Bonner as the H tight end right now. And you're sprinkling Eric Gilbert, the monster. Okay. So they're loaded at the tight end spot. The wide receivers, maybe a little bit ishy there, but you got Xavier Bench, you got Billy Kemp, Malachi Coleman is a dog, 4-star recruit coming in, like local kid. He's a dude. So Nebraska's looking pretty good. Penn State's got guys, right? You got Drew Aller. You got the running backs are just them, right? Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen. You brought in a big guy in Nate Cephas. So the talent is there, right? You got Chop Robinson on defensive line. Uh, There's talent everywhere around. Well, who's got the best QB in the group? Is it Kyle McCord? Is it Jeff Sims? Is it Drew Aller I just spoke about? Is it J.J. McCarthy? Apparently, the powers that be believe that J.J. McCarthy could go in the first round of NFL drafts last year. Apparently, they watch college football with a freaking bandana across their eyes, because I don't know what they were seeing. That all of a sudden, he played a year. There was film on this guy. There was a draft that went, and all of a sudden now this guy's a first-round draft pick. Something changed on the film that they watched to the film that I watched. I guess they got that special all-23, all-25 package that I didn't get. I only got the all-22. That should be something new going on in 2023 that I don't know about. Sign me up for that, please, because I want some of that. Or maybe sign me up to the local shop that you're going to that you see correctly. But I don't know what they're seeing to make J.J. McCarthy bounce up into the first round. Kyle McCord? Now this guy got a little bit of talent. I can put him in the first round. But there's a lot of questions in these group of 4. I say group of 4 because group of 5s and all that stuff might be coming to an end pretty soon. But in this group of 4 team tier here in the Big Ten, can Penn State and Nebraska say, listen, we're going to be them annoying neighbors that comes over and brings you, a welcoming basket. We're new to the neighborhood. Hi, here you go. Can I borrow some sugar and salt and butter? We're gonna be those guys, okay? We're gonna be them guys that are not gonna let you just run away with it and then just be the Ohio State Michigan show all year long. And the reason why I say that is because scheduling for some teams work out where it's just adamant that they could be in your throat. Let's talk about Penn State. You open up at you West Virginia, Delaware, Illinois, Iowa, Northwestern, UMass. That's 6-0 in my eyes. Then you go on the road to Ohio State, which can they win? Can Penn State finally put the feather in their cap and say, okay, all the hype is, all you guys put around me, we're gonna do it. And so they lose. That's 6-1. Then it's Indiana, Maryland, right? That's 8-1, and then Michigan at home. Let's see. You finish out Rutgers and Michigan State. So they could play spoiler to both of those teams. Do I think they will? I don't know. One of them, I think they can. Let's look at Michigan. East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, Rutgers, 4-0. I said today in a tweet to my boy Jake Crane, Michigan's going to lose at Nebraska. They're going into Lincoln, Nebraska. Michigan is going to take an L. Like that Floyd Mayweather gif where he's just throwing L, 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 L. When it happens, people, just like when Texas beats Alabama, come see me, okay? Then it's Minnesota, Indiana, Michigan State, Purdue. Oh, we talked about this game. Penn State, Maryland, and they close out against Ohio State. Ooh, God forbid there's a blemish on that record before that Ohio State game. God forbid there's 2 blemishes on that record before that Ohio State game. Could that Ohio State-Michigan game be relevant to close out the season? Maybe. Who knows? Ohio State, let's talk about it. At Indy, Youngstown, Western Kentucky. Those are 3 layups. Merry Christmas early in September. Then Notre Dame, off. You play 3 cakewalks out of 4 weeks, and then you get the week off. Okay, guys, it's all right. We'll take it easy on you. Maryland, Purdue, Penn State, Wisconsin. Those 2 right there are going to be dogfights. People are looking at it right now. Wisconsin is revamped and ready. Okay, at Rutgers. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights are no pushovers either. Michigan State, Minnesota. Like I said, that final game could have huge implications, or it could mean nothing for the first time in probably about 4 years. Nebraska starts off the year at Minnesota, at Colorado, then NIU, Louisiana Tech, Michigan. Circle it. I spoke about it earlier, 30 seconds ago. This is going to be a pivotal moment in Colton Huskers' turnaround when they beat Michigan at home and they rush the field. I'm calling it now. My Nostradamus moment is right now, May 15th at 9:15. My people, anybody who watches CFB Nation, CFB Prime, I'm calling it just like I called Texas this year against Alabama. They're winning. Nebraska is beating the Wolverines. David Cohn, I know you already got on Twitter. I love you, buddy. It's happening. We'll go back and forth when the game time comes. It's happening. I know you're a Wolverines alum. I know it's gonna hurt. Then it's at Illinois. Then you're off. Northwestern, Purdue, Michigan State, Maryland, Wisconsin, Iowa. Can Nebraska stick their necks in there and say, whoopsie, we're back. We're gonna make a little bit of noise and a run in the Big Ten? Can Penn State put it together with a young, talented squad led by Drew Aller and the running backs in the backfield who average about 6.5 yards per carry on straight dogs? Can it happen? Or can Jimmy right the ship? Can Jimmy light the fire? Mr. Jimmy Harbaugh, and make JJB this quote-unquote first-round draft pick prospect at quarterback. I mean, I get it. After Caleb and Drake May, it's wide open, but there's guys that are better. That's disrespectful to Bo Nix. That's disrespectful to Michael Penix Jr. Okay? You disrespect. You're throwing it around like it's nothing. Come on, people. I need to see something. This is CFB Prime. I'm Nino Brown. I'm fired up off this one. Blow the damn whistle. We out.
Some of you in the room right now, you are where you are. You're giving 60% when you have 120 in you. Why? Because you never made a decision. Those of you in this room, you already there. Your problem is it's some stuff you don't want to give up to go. Listen to me, pound for pound, any agent in the room, pound for pound, motivational speaker, pound for pound, entrepreneur, pound for pound, athlete, pound for pound, weightlifter, pound for pound, whatever you do, I guarantee you when you do it, nobody can do it like you do it. The problem is you don't hardly do it.